welcome back to another? Is this another?
Yeah.
A different episode of Shade Life Archives. The idea of this is we go through the archive. So we go through our Facebook or Instagram or maybe a video clip or a photo that we came by in recent times, and we just go through the archive, and then whatever it brings up, we talk about it. Nobody knows what it is, what we're gonna discuss, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so you're focused, you're good. All right, I'm gonna go to my Facebook.
Okay.
Let's see here. I'm gonna go to memories, and we will scroll down. I'll find a good one. Let's see. Nah, that was a good one though.
I liked when you just put your finger on it.
What do you mean?
Last time you were like, tell me when to stop.
Oh yeah, but that was the Instagram one.
Oh, we're on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh, this is a good one.
We could do that one.
Okay.
That was
I know the timeline. Look,
the beginning.
November 19th, 2018. That's the timeline. I'm gonna screenshot that.
Really? Okay, so then I got...
Why would you think it was?
So I was pregnant?
Huh?
I was pregnant.
No, Bodhi was born in 2018. So this is right after Bodhi was born.
Oh, true.
So this would have been, and I remember this photo too.
Oh yeah, because Twin had to be in the car.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember this photo.
I do remember that.
Okay, so timeline. This was November
2018.
So, which means this was the beginning of SHADELIFE Company, because we just celebrated 2 years on November 14th.
Yes.
Of SHADELIFE Company.
Yep.
So we started.
So this was the start.
This was the beginning of it. Yeah.
February happened.
All right. So should we do backstory of the photo, or should we do story of the photo?
Let's do story of the photo first.
Okay, story of the photo.
Well, no, actually, we could backtrack.
Okay, so backtrack. I don't know. There's so much to talk about. Now that that's come up. Okay.
So many memories.
All right, so I'll backtrack because it will help us get to the rest of it. 2018, because I haven't even gotten laid off yet.
Right,
I got laid off my job. I was at this job for over
10 years.
Over 10 years. I was at this job and I got laid off in 2019. So 2018, we were talking with friends a bunch of times about being burnt out and tired, and not just like at this job, but just across the board. Like not inspired. And as a creative person, one of the worst things, like I think it's the worst nightmare that you can ever have, is be in a creative field, having a creative job, and feel very
uninspired and
not creative.
Passionate. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's exactly where I was. And and honestly, I can't really blame the job, and I can't blame necessarily anything specific.
Right.
But I do think how I handled myself within this timeline, maybe not making enough time for inspiration, or not making enough time for doing things that I enjoy, and just getting caught up with,
of course,
work. And that, I think, was a problem, was that I was in an area of my life where work just was my life. Right. And even if it was the idea of pursuing something outside of work, it was still work. And I just became super uninspired. So when we decided to start this company, SHADELIFE Company, it was this like, maybe we can try to get out of this job somehow. Right. And remember, we even had conversations about, maybe it was summer 2019.
Maybe at the end of the year, actually.
Maybe at the end of the year, I'll leave this job and we'll see what happens. Without knowing, a couple months later, February 2019, I would get laid off my job.
And this picture was November.
So Bodhi was just born October 14th. Yeah. So, really, like almost like a month after. And this was like, I gotta do something. Yeah. Especially when Bodhi was born, it was like that fire underneath you that was like, there's got to be more. Yes. And that's a good way to put it. That was like that feeling like this this cannot be it.
This can't be it.
This can't be it. But you know, when you're at something and you're comfortable, not just job-wise, but also financially.
Right.
And that's one of the issues, I think, across the board for a lot of people, is that you get into a job, you get comfortable. And it's not just getting comfortable within that schedule. You get comfortable in those finances because those finances fuel your life. You get a car, you get a house, your rent, your car payment.
And you feel like it's secure. You're like, oh, it's a, you know, I know exactly what I'm getting and this and that. But at the end of the day, your job is not secured.
Yeah, and that was well, before I get to that, it's this, you get locked into a lifestyle because that's just the money you're making. So you're afraid to lose your phone. You're afraid to lose, you know, the car. So you're just like, I gotta stick with this. This is my lifestyle. Right. And what was it you just said?
That what did I just say? That's why I have wine. Yeah. You get so comfortable in it that's the lifestyle you choose to have.
Yeah, I think so. It has something to do with that. It's
security. Like you're in a job because you know what you're getting paid, and then
you're right.
Your job wasn't secure. That's what I said.
Well, that's for me, and this is not for everybody. I think there was this feeling of, this is what I was taught. This was the safety net. This is the secure job. Yeah. Have a job, be there for as long as you can.
Have insurance. Yeah. All the above.
Retire. Yeah. And you're good. And I think because that didn't work out, it just like destroyed my mentality on what the safe route is. Yeah. Because I don't even think I can go back that way. Because even if going that way, it just wouldn't feel safe because that was the safe route. Right. And
it turned out not to be so safe.
We're totally jumping ahead, by the way.
We are. It's okay.
Okay, so November 2000.
It's helping us.
November 2018. I
decided
I wasn't into photography. I've done film video production since I was a teenager. Right. And I needed something to like ignite passion. Yep. Right? Or do something. And I remember just picking up the camera because we were vlogging at the time. Yeah. I grabbed Twin, Bodhi's godfather, and I saw this photo somewhere else, and I was like, oh, let me try to fix my coloring. And I look at this photo now, and the coloring job I did is horrendous. But it was like just the concept of looking at one image and trying to make it as detailed as possible. And now we can get to the story of the photo. We were taking this photo, and we had Bodhi, and he was an infant, like a month old. Yeah. And the only way that I could take this photo is if
Twin stayed in the car.
So we parked at like the back of this garage area, right?
We were like, we'll take pictures of you if you'll watch Bodhi for a second.
That's right. And he just stayed in the car with Bodhi, and we were like, oh, I'll be right back. Like, I felt like we were
You're like, come in front of this tree. I really think I can get a good picture of you.
I mean, the leaves were dope.
The leaves were dope.
It
ended up becoming a really cool picture.
But what's funny is that I think the only reason I saw that area was because I would drive past it every day to go home. That was my go home route. I was like, oh, those leaves look cool. That's the reality of photography. Photography,
you see things differently too.
It's also with cinema too. It's like, you think it's like this romanticized idea, and it's like, oh, they're just on the side of the street by these leaves. Yeah. But I remember feeling extremely like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I have all these years, all these years of experience, and I don't even know. I remember telling JC, like, I don't even think I want to do this anymore. Like, I want to find another career. And I think maybe that's why I was so deep into, the spiritual pastor journey, which was like, I was looking for an avenue out. So picking up this camera and taking this specific photo, it's such a landmark at the beginning. And I think on the Instagram, I keep that photo there, even though a big part of me wants to change it because it's
so old. Well, it was just the beginning of your creative journey of photography.
So where were you at at least with me expressing that? I mean, I always think about for myself, if I'm going through these emotions and I'm expressing to my wife, and she's a mother now, that I'm like, I don't know, I just don't like my job. I'm not passionate about it. I want out. And you're like, what am I gonna, what are we gonna do? Yeah. Like, what was going through your head?
I mean, I was definitely, like, I'm all about structure and like, okay, like you always want your husband to be happy and like passionate about what he does, because when you're, and vice versa, when you're passionate and you're excited about something, it trickles into the family, So I definitely knew I wanted you to be happy, and it's always a sucky feeling when you're not thriving in something that you once were so passionate about. So for me, I always wanted to support you and wanted you to do what you love, because I think you're also very talented in a lot of different things. So I knew that you could do whatever you put your mind to do. But there was that also part of me that's like, we just had a baby, and you were very much like, I want to leave this job. Like, I really do. And I don't, at some point we have to take a leap. But then there's that part of me that's like, I understand, but like, can we have a backup of some sort before we take this leap?
Yeah.
And so, there was that nervous part of me that was like, we just had a kid. Like,
yeah,
we got to somehow support this kid. So whatever direction you're thinking of going, as long as there's a game plan on financially how to sustain it, then I'm down for it.
And being laid off wasn't even on the radar.
It wasn't even on the radar. Because we were even just talking about how secure your job was, because you were so specific.
We had health benefits.
But but your job itself like was very specific. Like, you weren't just like, and not to discredit like IT or HR or things like that, but you had a specific degree about filming.
Oh yeah, because especially in South Florida, it's not like you can just pick up a video production job. I don't want to say that it's not easy, but like a job, unless you start and you're freelance or you're creating content, which is like our business now. But it's like, one, it's highly competitive. Two, you are, how do you put it? Like, you're replaceable.
You're replaceable?
You are replaceable.
You are replaceable, yes.
And, like, cameramen and editors are like plumbers, or,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, or electricians. It's a craft. And, you can't do the job. I got 15, 20 other dudes that can use a camera. And even more so, it's like, and the 14-year-old kid, they can use their phone.
Right.
So it's as much as you think you can get a job, it's also like, it's just oversaturated.
Right.
But then trying to get in to something that you feel maybe passionate about, I mean, that's like a video production idea. Trying to get into something that you're passionate about. I mean, film, meaning like cinema, doesn't really exist industry-wise down here. If you are doing it, it's marketing.
Right.
And that's like commercials, infomercials, or creative content.
Right.
Which we're very fortunate that that's the direction that we took our business.
Yeah.
And not to say if other people don't, they're not fortunate. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. Just if you're looking for that outlet, film is a very difficult industry to be in if you live here. Because even dancers, it was hard to be in the industry of entertainment, because entertainment doesn't exist down here.
Right, to that level of capacity.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I forgot why I brought this up. Oh, okay.
Specific. So,
there was like this choice. It was either news, right? Mm-hmm. Freelance, okay? Yep. Meaning like you just do with the camera and you just work all sorts of gigs and jobs, and some people can make a really good living doing that. Weddings. Mm-hmm. And being in the DJ business for so long, I despise that part of the business. Yeah. And it's not that, okay, despise is a very strong word.
It might be a little bit strong.
It's not that I despise it, it's just, it's not the clientele that I really enjoy involving myself, because I'm a communal person.
Right.
So I don't like I work with someone for a couple months and then like, see you later, and then never really talk to them. I don't really get to build with them. Yeah. And it could be a cutthroat industry. Right. But I have a lot of friends that thrive in it too, so mm-hmm. To each their own. So those are your options.
Right.
So landing this job where I was kind of like a gold mine in a sense. It was like, you got benefits, The work isn't too taxing. You're working with high-end equipment. What else could you want? You live right near it. You have tons of benefits. Like there was a gym that we were able to use. So everything felt like, why would you not want to work here?
Right.
And it's not like the place treated me bad. It just
there's just something inside of you that was like, there's got to be more for us.
And I remember too, at that time in our life, especially like with Bodhi, there was this feeling of, I just don't want to be that dad that comes home exhausted and doesn't have energy for his family.
Yep.
Like the thought of it. I mean, even now, like I get tired, but at the very least, I can sit and enjoy being with my son and not sit there and just fall asleep.
Right.
Even though I look extremely tired right now because I was falling asleep, but that's also because we were trying to find things to get him to fall asleep.
Right. Right. Which makes us end up falling asleep.
Yeah, those things, like you watch it thinking it's for your kid and you get into it and then you're like, why am I tired?
Like I bought a coloring book for my son and we color, but he ends up going off and I'm still coloring.
And then she gets really upset if like he messes with.
Like he always wants to turn the page when I'm trying to color and I'm still, dude, you're selfish. Stop. Anywho, picture.
Yeah. Okay. So what else from this photo? So I just didn't want that. I didn't want to feel tired all the time. And that's where I was. And I remember too, we were juggling so much. We were House of Drums. We were Heartway, which was like very involved as well. Yeah. Like we had our own things. We got side gigs. I think I was still DJing at the time as well. You were still dancing. I mean, this is of course like post. What's it called? Would it be postpartum or post pregnancy?
Oh yes.
So there was like a lot happening, and then this job thing. And I guess like the interesting thing is, once you start putting those thoughts out into the world, some people say the universe or the cosmic universe, whatever it is, you start putting those thoughts out, things start to kind of like unravel by itself. And fast forward, and I don't want to go too deep into it because it would be another picture. Yeah. But we never leaped.
No.
I mean, I always tell people that I just was kicked off the cliff. Like I didn't jump. I just got kicked off the cliff and I had to
figure out how to fly.
Yeah, I turned falling and turned it into something that looked like flying.
Right.
And sometimes I still feel like I'm falling and I'm I'm just kind of floating and I'm like, there's the ground, put your wings out. Okay, we're good, that's how it feels. But at the same time, I think you have to pay attention to the things that are dying inside too. It doesn't mean like it's the complete end of something, but it does mean that
something has to change.
Yeah, something has to change. Something has to be renewed. And I'm very glad that you're the type of person that allows me to feel those things, and you're not like, well, get your ass up and go to work, I mean, I still do have to do that,
right?
And I think we both do that well with one another, which is just allowing ourselves to feel things and then sift through those feelings. Like, what does that mean? Like, because I mean, one of my fears is just living life unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Never waking up every day and not feeling like there's a purpose. And I don't want to say like this floaty, like I have a purpose in life, but right. I do want to feel like I'm needed.
Yeah.
Like people need me. Like my life is necessary and it
matters.
Needed. Yeah. Yeah. So there's like this part where in that time frame, taking photos and photography and finding this whole new journey of creativity, it created a new door. And I would say for anyone that's struggling with that is if you're in this drought, just do something new.
Right.
And what's really interesting is fast forward all the way to now, 2020. I do photography, but I've fallen more and more in love with filmmaking.
Isn't that funny?
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
But it was because I picked up a camera and I said, I gotta look at this differently. And
with a new lens.
You have to look through you're so deep.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
That's a mom joke right there. And then
why is there no mom jokes?
I don't know. We should make them though. I think it's because dads.
What?
They just get corny.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good save.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Sorry, sidetracked. My bad.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
The new photography.
Oh yeah.
New lens.
And think about this too. With starting the company, right? I mean, fast forward again, you were able to dive into design, and that's a huge part of the company too.
Yeah.
Which is from product design to room design to all sorts of design.
Creating spaces.
Yeah, you create space, and I always say if it looks good, it's because Borchin touched it, not because I did. But that's also a big part where it also opened an opportunity up for you, but just because of switching mediums, and I mean, and then also too, like how Twin now is like an excellent photographer. I'm not saying it's because it became a photographer all this happened. It's just It's just this paying attention to things that don't feel right, and things feel off, and you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over
and expect a different result.
Exactly. So I just knew I had to change it up. And I remember too, like that photo specifically, like now I probably could do it in like 10 minutes. I took like 3 days to edit that shit. Tutorials but it's crazy. I remember, and I don't even know what I did to your skin tone, but it looks like
porcelain.
Yeah, I definitely didn't do great, but at the time,
do more of that? No, I'm just kidding.
At the time, it was like discovering a whole new side of myself, and that was detail, which was because film is like it's motion picture, right?
Right.
And motion picture is photography. Like it's like a flip book. It's just photo, right. And motion, right? So motion pictures. It is a picture. That's what film is. But then if you break it down to like its foundation, its fundamental photography, it's an image. It's a still image. And can you look at one image and bring out the detail?
And bring out the story.
And that's kind of like what we're doing with SHADELIFE Archives. It's looking at a photo or a piece of media and pulling out all these details.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love about life documentation. It's like you look at something and you're like, oh, you remember that hat?
Yep.
Do you remember when we used to go here?
Yeah.
When you used to go, like,
the emotions, the feelings that it brings up.
Like, what else is there? Let me see.
In the picture?
Yeah. Oh, crap. I've lost it. Back to
snap a picture of it.
Back to memories. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, like even the color scheme.
So even in here, I remember you were, maybe it's because you turned into a mom, but you were trying more and more to embrace your Turkish side.
Yes.
I remember because like you had a big Joanna Gaines influence.
Oh my gosh. I still do.
No, for sure. I mean, amazing. Who isn't?
Yeah.
Even myself, I'm like, ooh, let me make a farmhouse. Yeah. But you had there was like this switch for you when you look at it, where you're like you wanted to embrace more for your Turkish side, and so you had like the shawl over your shoulders, right, stuff like that. Like where were you then in that? And I guess you could say like, why then did you want to embrace it more?
I think just having a child changes things. You're like, gosh, I want him to know that side of me. Like, I don't know, part of me misses that aspect because I live in America, and you just are accustomed to.
And you were brought up culturally Turkish.
Yes, in America.
Yes.
And so, not having as much family anymore around and things like that, you just get accustomed to your surroundings and who you're with. So for me, there was just no need to, I guess. But once you have a child, it's like, well, he's half Turkish.
Yeah. And
I want him to know that side of us, and what that looks like. And so I just wanted to embrace more of that because I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of, where my family was from and how they brought us up and just the family orientedness of it, of the culture. So I just I don't know, something in me just switched and was like, I need to embrace that.
There's this, I always tell your dad that there's like this Turkish perseverance that exists in like the environment of your people. I don't know what it is. It's like things happen and you get emotional about it, whatever, but it's just like we just keep going.
Yep.
We just keep going. Even if that may mean like stuff it,
right.
or hold it. You
just gotta keep going.
It's just to keep going, And not everyone's like that. I mean, I know that your family has been through a lot, and your family is first generation America. You're the first born here in America.
They had to work really hard to give us a life.
Yeah, and we forget that's and we forget how people that have come to this country at that time frame, and not having their own family with them, their own culture.
Right.
I mean, you're just jumping into America. That is a melting pot of other cultures, which really doesn't have its own culture.
Correct.
We're a business culture.
Yep.
That's a lot. That's tough. So I mean, I respect that, and maybe I didn't see it like when we had Bodhi too, like because I'm not so cultured myself, being adopted. So he's gonna know more about his Turkish side than his Filipino side.
Well, maybe.
I mean, I'll have Filipino traits, and I'll do my best, but
of course, but you definitely
I don't eat the food, I don't speak the language,
yeah,
like we're not gonna have those meals as like a daddy grew up with this, you know what I mean? So we're gonna have this. It's gonna be like I had ramen noodles. You're gonna have ramen noodles,
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Well, I need to be better at learning how to cook some Turkish foods.
Yeah, I mean. This photo, I think, man, so much. I think it was like this. It was the beginning of the end. That's what it was. The beginning of the end. And if I could look back now, I would tell myself, don't worry, man. Just keep going. Something good's ahead. And you can't see it.
Right.
You can't see it when you're in it.
I think that's faith.
Yeah.
Too.
Just
walking into the unknown, which is so scary.
I know. But that's something I read the other day, which was, having this awareness in the uncertainty is when it turns into adventure.
Say that again.
I don't even know what I just said.
Okay, cool.
But it's something around the idea of being aware, and just being okay with uncertainty in your life. That's when it becomes adventure. Because when you have uncertainty in your life, that's when you have anxiety, and you get, that's what it is. The anxiety that you get, I forgot the quote, but you get it.
You'll put it up.
You get it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a quote. I just read it somewhere.
Oh, great.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's one of those like scroll through like, oh, nice.
I do have to say though, like with you picking up the camera for photography, you definitely became a better cinematographer.
Yeah.
As well. Like it definitely challenged you. You learned different things to do with it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's made you also better in your other craft. For sure. I mean, I love filmmaking now, and I love the concept of storytelling, but the beautiful part of I guess you could say a good story is the story that you can tell in one frame, and that's like what we're doing with SHADELIFE Archives. So that's pretty cool. That is cool. Good job, dude. Good stuff. All right, well, I got stuff to do, so. So do I. Handle that.